Just an initial note for everybody out there, my suggestion is you go to your homepage and look at your feed, and at the top right of it, you'll see a view button, and it's probably set by default to highlights. I suggest you put it on everything if you'd like to actually see all of your subscriptions, because I don't know about you, but I've been pissed the fuck off that I have been missing so many of my videos and didn't even realize that there was such a small thing that could be done to fix the shit. Cue the opener. This video is in response to an awesome young lady named Awesome Rants here on YouTube, and I gotta tell you, the first part of her username is extremely apt, though I don't think the second part is quite so much, because she is a lot more mature and level-headed than even I am, and a lot of people laud me as being especially both, but her videos aren't so much ranty as mine are, so if you like how reasonable I am, you should go check her out. And she made a video the other day talking about the fact that basically she cannot give an honest dissenting opinion to anything that anybody in authority in her school says, anything that a teacher says or whatever, because someone came to one of her classes, very nice person, came and talked about the idea of drug testing the students. And she was vehemently against this, but had feelings as such where it was like, well, I can't really dissent to what the guy is saying because I'll get in trouble type idea, you know? And I just kind of want to relate this to my own life experiences, if you'll permit me for a moment. See, at my job, I work in a store where everybody in the varying departments throughout the store, each hour, has to take a little clipboard and do a little walk around for the store to make sure what the general status of the store is, as far as garbage, being around, and whatever. So a different department at the beginning of each hour walks around the store and just fills out this clipboard. The thing is, it seems that I'm one of the few people who does this on a consistent basis because I actually remember to. And the management has taken to giving people write-ups because they aren't remembering. I, being someone who actually remembers to do this on a consistent basis, feel responsible when people get write-ups like this though, because with knowledge comes responsibility. And so I feel responsible to help people out with this. I'll take the clipboard after I'm done with it and walk it to the next department that's going to need it so that they'll be able to look it over and whatever and actually remember that they have to do that in like the next, 40 minutes or something. Now, one thing that occurred to me while I was actually sitting around at work thinking about this is, what if one of the managers came up to me and asked me why I was doing that? I'd look at him and be like, because you aren't. Because for some reason you seem to think that it's a better idea to write people up for something that you basically didn't even train them on how to do in the first place, because I know I wasn't. I didn't even know I had to do this for the first couple of months I was there. So they're punishing people basically for not remembering to do something that they didn't even fucking train them to do or how to do. In other words, I'm doing a part of your job for you because somehow you don't feel responsible to actually take it upon yourself to remind people to do this, and somehow you think it's going to serve some purpose to punish people for it without doing anything constructive. That's why I'm doing it. But no, I couldn't possibly say that because what would happen? You're fired. Boop! Right out the door. In response to a lot of my more recent videos that have to do with things like parenting, a lot of people commented about how I'm antagonistic towards authority figures. Oh, I have an authority problem. Yes, I have a problem with authority not being questioned. I have a problem with the idea that we just accept that these people, one, should be an authority, two, that all their decisions are correct, and three, especially, that they shouldn't be questioned when they are doing something questionable. Questioning authority is essential. Period. But one thing that I realized is my biggest issue with that situation is the fact that when I'm in it, I am not an equal to this authority figure so far as the respect that is due between us. When I try and talk to him about this subject, I would have to be particularly respectable about it, and I would have to be as respectful to him as possible. But at the same time, when I do something silly shit, like going maybe 2 minutes over my 15-minute lunch break, then he gives me a write-up and is giving me that shit-eating grin at the same time as he's writing me the fuck up and demeaning me and condescending to me, and yet I am not allowed to do the same fucking thing to him. It is dehumanizing and demeaning to be treated in that that way. Now the issue though goes even further in Awesome Rant's situation, because her assumption is that even if she was respectable to these authority figures at her school, that she would still be punished. And I mean, here on YouTube, when you talk about things, you don't really have to worry so much about consequences. Because in the real world, you can get real life consequences much worse. Like, if I say this shit here, then obviously I'm not going to get fired. But if I said this shit within earshot of someone that was at my job, then yes, I could get fired for that. So there's obviously a dissonance between the consequences that you have to potentially deal with in the respective forums. And on that note, Awesome Rants asked about, does her reluctance to talk about certain subjects on YouTube implicate her own cowardice or the hypersensitivity of her community? I think it's both. Personally, I don't extend this standard to anybody but myself, but I think it's cowardly to do any less than speak the truth as you see it. Are you overestimating the contentiousness of the issue or underestimating the tolerance of the people in your respective community? I'm not sure, as I'm sure this applies to a full gamut of issues that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. But I think what's important to remember is which should be prioritized and when. We all know it doesn't matter what we do, it'll always piss off somebody. It doesn't matter if you choose to go left, right, straight, choose Pepsi, Coke, whatever. It doesn't matter what decision that you make, there's always going to be somebody who is pissed off at you for doing exactly what it is you're doing. So the point, I think, is to do what you want to do. As a teenager who's still so beholden to others, this may not be the best advice for you in real life situations, but I say, screw what everyone else thinks. Say what you think and do what you want. It's your time and your life to spend as you wish. Don't allow the pressures of others to dictate your life. It's simply unfair to yourself. It's the fastest way to lose yourself in the quagmire of societal expectations and social pressures. But that's just my opinion. And on the larger question that you asked about, what are you gonna do if you happen to disagree with someone for good reason and all they can do is respond by repeating themselves? I believe the scientific term for that is being pwned. When you fuck someone's shit up so bad they ain't nothing left to say, that's what they are. And of course, just about anybody in a position of authority when pwned is going to lash out irrationally because. So I advise always being respectful, even when the person that you're talking to is disrespectful and disrespectable. As tough as it is to love and merely pity these small-minded reactionary people, it's much better than hating them for their detriment. And as far as the issue that you brought up about drug testing students in schools, I think it's just another consequence of living in a society that doesn't respect minors as human beings. You are basically stripped of all your rights once you go into a school. All of your rights to your property, your thoughts, your expression, all gone. Most people don't care what children think, period. They don't care about demeaning and dehumanizing them in certain situations because society doesn't see it as such. And yes, it is wrong. Hope you found this response useful, Awesome Rants. And as always, long days and pleasant nights.